Hi there, welcome to QA Box Let's Test. In the previous video we talked about Cypress browser commands. In this video we are going to talk about Cypress document commands. But before we move on, let's understand what is a document. So the thing that I'm highlighting starting from this point till here is called as a document, more specifically an HTML document. We're also going to cover cookies, what you're seeing in here. So this website is asking us to accept cookies so that this site can use cookie for proper operation of their product. It can uh, collect diagnostic information and personalize our experience. That's what basically cookies do. So what is an HTML document first of all? So HTML document is a document that gets created using hypertext markup language. This document has got the extension HTML. So let's create our own HTML document first. Under this help folder, I have created this blank index.html file, and let us create our first HTML document. So this is the basic structure of an HTML document. So you have this HTML, this is the parent or the root element of an HTML document, and inside that we have these two main things, head and body. So the head of an HTML document contains the metadata about the page. Metadata typically define the document title, character set, styles, scripts, and other meta information. So let us change the title to QA Box Let's Test. This thing, what you are seeing in here, viewport, we're also going to cover the viewport, and this particular value in here, as you could read from here, the resolution would be decided by the width of the device. So we are kind of making our web page responsive. And of course, there are a lot of more things that we have to do to make our page responsive, but this is the bare minimum that we have to do to make it run across different devices. So I have an extension installed in my Visual Studio Live Server. So with the help of it, I'm going to launch this web page. Alright, so now you see the title is QA box let's test. So that is coming from the head tag. Now let us inspect this, and herein also you see this head and the body. They are encapsulated inside this HTML, which is the root element. The body of an HTML document contains all the contents of an HTML document, such as headings, paragraphs, images, hyperlinks, tables, list, drop down, combo boxes, and so on. So let us add one simple text box. Let us add one more attribute, placeholder. Let's save it, move to the browser, and you see that element is being added. Now let's open the body section, and in here you see that web element. We are going to cover web element in an upcoming video. In this video, we are solely going to focus on document. So let us also see the document object programmatically. It's a special object which exists inside the global browser object, that is Windows. So you can say window dot document. You see this, right? When I hover over this, the whole document page is highlighted. You expand this, you see the same structure which you were seeing in here. The other way you can access this is using this dot document. Again, you see the same thing. And I said this is a special object, so you can also say document and hit enter. And we have few more things in here like document.title, which we are going to cover in this video. We also have document.cookies, and herein you see this is empty. So let us head to this Cypress page itself, and if we say document.cookies, cookie. So you see this string value is being returned to you, which has got this name value pair. So underscore hjid equal to, so hjid is basically the name and this is your value, right? So we have talked about this first point. Now we have to write code on these three areas, which are title, cookies, and viewport. I'm going to first write code for all these three concepts using the document object, and then I'm going to use the direct command provided by Cypress to accomplish the same. So let's start writing the code. So you see there are three test cases for the document object through which I'm going to accomplish the objective, which is this. And then there are three direct Cypress commands through which we are going to accomplish the same again. So let's start with the title one first. And the way you are going to access the document object in Cypress is by using the command cy.document. And by now you should know this should. So now inside this, you have to write our code. So we have to say doc.title. So this will return us the title of the web page we are working on currently. So whatever page that you have visited basically, right? So cy.document will get hold of the document object. Alright, so let's save that into a constant and let's call it title text, right? And let's write our assertion. So we are going to use expect to be equal, and this title text should be equal to, in our case, let's conduit. Let us run this. Okay, it's really quick. Let's re-execute that. Alright, so it's being executed. Let us make a change in here to ensure that it is working correctly. And now assertion should fail because conduit is not equal to conduit 1, 2, 3. Alright, so that works. Let's accomplish the same using the direct Cypress command, which is cy.title. So is our test case dot only, so that only this would get executed, and we have to say cy.title. That's a command. So cy.title will yield the title of the web page. Then we are going to use then, and let's pass in the callback function, and we say again, let me just grab this quickly, and we say this text to equal this. Let us run this and see if it works. Right, it passes. Let's change it to something and make it fail. So it's failing. Great. Right, so title part is done. Second one is the height and width. So the structure is pretty much the same. We have to write code inside this. So this cy.document, as you could see, it yields the chainable Cypress chainable document object. So we are passing that inside should, and this is the normal JavaScript object. So what do we see on the normal JavaScript object? Let's see that first. So if we say document, right, dot, we see all these properties and methods like we saw in case of Windows object, right? So when you say doc dot, right, so you see those same things in here as well, right? Just like Windows that I showed in the previous video. Okay, so we are now going to use two of the jQuery methods, which are width and height. So though they are read-only method, by read-only I mean that they're only going to return you the height and width. You can't change the height and width of the document using those methods. But now the question is, how can we use those methods? Because when you say doc dot, what you see in here is the list of methods and properties available on the JavaScript document object. So you have to wrap that inside Cypress dot $sign, and now this becomes your jQuery document. and now you have access to those methods. But let's understand one more thing. So when you work using this syntax, you're working in a synchronous manner. That means now you can store that into variables, and at later point of time you can access these variables. So let's give it a name, doc obj. All right, and I'll show you. So I say doc obj dot height. So you could see that this is available to me now. Okay, and earlier it wasn't there. So let's check that, doc dot height. If I say height, so you see that it is not a method. All right, it's not available. Okay, so we have got access to height. Let's save that in a variable. Let's call it doc height is equal to this. Same way, let's store the width as well in a variable, and the method for that is width. Alright, now just simply log this out to the console. Let's use the template literal syntax. So we're going to say screen height is, so we have this, and same way let us log out the width as well. Let us run this. Alright, so you could see the screen height is 600 and the screen width is 1000, which is what you see in here. So now if there is a special test case when you have to check whether you're working on the right screen resolution, this is how you are going to do it, because there is no direct command as such in Cypress through which you can read the height and width of the document page. Though there is a command cy.viewport through which you can set the viewport. So let's understand that now. So come here. This is the test case for that. And the command name is viewport. So you're going to say cy.viewport. Remember, we just saw the default setting, which is 1000 cross 660. So the width is 1000 and height is 660. And we have got two variations available for this. Let's first understand the basic one. We have to provide the preset and the orientation. So let's provide the preset. So you write two double quotes, and with the help of this hint you see all the different things available to you. So what are these? So let's say I want to work on iPad 2. Okay, so you select that. So when you do this, automatically Cypress will load your application in iPad 2 resolution. And the second one is the orientation, whether you want to load your application in the landscape mode or in the portrait mode. Let's go by landscape mode. Let me save this. Let's quickly head back to the browser. Alright, so now you see this thing is being changed, and in the log as well you see iPad 2 and landscape. If I change it to portrait, would that make any change? Let's see that. Alright, so now you see the clear difference. Amazing. So same way you have these different presets available, and besides that what you can also do is you can provide your own height and width. So let us provide our own height and width. Let me quickly save this, and now this thing is being changed again, so you see the difference in now. Let us make it 799, and you see this thing has been changed. Alright, so that's how you can control the viewport. So the next one is cookies, but let's understand first what are cookies. So cookies are data stored in small text files on your computer. HTTP, as you know, is a sessionless protocol, and hence as soon as a web server sends a web page to a browser, the connection is shut down and the server forgets everything about the user. So how to remember information about the user? Well, cookies were invented to deal with this problem. So when a user visits a web page, some user information can be stored in a cookie. Next time when the user launches the web page on browser, the same cookie is sent along with the request. Now with the help of this cookie, server recognize the user. And in some cases, we also store the login related information within the cookie. So when the login is successful first time, server sends the login information in the cookies. So now the cookie is there on the client side. The client does not have to pre-authenticate again and again, but in every request, client is supposed to send the token or the session ID being handed over by the server to the client. So let's first see how we can do this using the document object. So this is our test website. Let's open this and let's see, do we have any cookies in here? There are no cookies, right? So how can we set a cookie? It's very simple. So you're going to say document.cookie is equal to, and cookies are basically saved in name value pairs. So let us create a cookie in here, and we are going to say, we're going to write that inside these double quotes, and we are going to say user name, and let's give it a name QA box. So basically this is how we create a cookie. Let me hit enter. Now if I access the object document.cookie, you will see this. Alright, so that's how you are going to create it. Pretty simple, straightforward. So I'm just going to grab this and we come here, how to create it. So instead of document, we have this doc in here. So let's grab this. Right now, how to read this? It's very simple. So this is how we are going to read it, doc.cookies. So I just say log that, and then we have to do this. Now if you have to update this, what do you have to do? You have to say username is equal to, now we just say let's test. Right, so that's how we are going to update it. Let's log into the console again to see if it is updated or not. And to clear it out, all you have to do is just, let me just copy this once. So basically we are clearing it out, so just remove this value from here. Right, let's save this, and we have to, okay, let me just, all right, let's save it and run it. Okay, so you could see that earlier the value was QA box, then we have this thing. All right, okay, so this is how you are going to work using the cy.document command, but there are a lot of commands available related to cookies, so use those direct commands. So now let's see those direct commands. The first one is create, and the command that we have for this is cy.setCookie. Okay, and we have to provide in two things in here. Much easier compared to when you have to work with document. So you have this method, you just provide the name. So let's give it a different name this time, channel name, and let's provide in the value, and we say QA box. All right, now to read that we have cy.getCookie, and there is one more method. So if you just want to grab one cookie, you have to use cy.getCookie. If you want to grab multiple cookies, then you have this cy.getCookies. This will give you all the cookies, right? All of the browser cookies. All right, so which one we have to grab? We have to grab this one. So this is how we are going to do it. Now if I have to update this, again we have to use the same thing in here. So we're going to change it to, now let's say let's test. Right, let's see whether this is being updated or not. And to clear this out, you have cy.clearCookie to clear a specific cookie, and if you want to clear out all the cookies, you have clear cookies. And Cypress automatically clears all cookies before each test to prevent state being shared across test. Point to be noted. All right, so we have to clear this one cookie. All right, and let's clear this. So let me just use only here. Let us run this. Alright, so everything is being passed, so we have cleared out this cookie, and this is interesting. So when you clear out the cookie, you could see that it yields null. So what will happen if I want to get a cookie which does not exist? Will it give me any kind of error? Let's see that. Alright, so when we do this, so no cookie with the name channel name was found. So we do not get any error, it just yield null to us. This point to be noted. So I hope things are clear. So all you need to do is you need to know the cookie name in which you are storing that login information. You have to first fetch it, then you have to store that into the cookie file, and then any subsequent request that you make will make use of that cookie. So that ways you can programmatically log in into your application. So let's do some more things in here. So let us set the body of this web page to red, let's say. Now to access the body, you have this document object. If you do dot, you can access the body, and when I'm writing this inside it, that means that now I have access to jQuery methods, and one such method is CSS. And in here you have to pass in the object, or you can also pass the property name of the string. I'm going to just pass one property, so I'm fine with that. So I'm going to say background color, and I'm simply setting it to red. And let me just run this one, and now you could see the body color is changed to red. And this is just an example. I mean, we have not achieved anything yet using this, but if you know jQuery, I mean, there are a lot of things you can do. I hope you like this. Thank you so much.